In the year 5024, Earth was a distant memory, its existence all but erased from the galaxy's collective consciousness. The Galactic Council, a coalition of advanced civilizations, had obliterated it 3 millennia ago in a brutal act designed to eliminate what they saw as a rising threat. Few humans survived the cataclysm, scattered across the stars. Their origins whispered only in legends and half-forgotten tales. The remnants of humanity became a race of nomads, drifting from one system to another, often unwelcome and distrusted by the more established civilizations. The destruction of Earth had driven humanity into the shadows, forcing them to adapt, survive, and endure. Generations lived and died with the burning desire for justice simmering beneath the surface of their collective psyche. On the fringes of the galaxy, a forgotten space station orbited a dead planet. It was here, in the ruins of this ancient outpost, that a group of human explorers made a discovery that would change everything. Led by Captain Arya Stone, a battle-hardened leader with a fierce determination to reclaim her people's place in the galaxy, the team had been scouring abandoned worlds and derelict stations for any remnants of Earth's past. "Captain, you need to see this," called out Dr. Liam Harris, the team's chief scientist, his voice trembling with excitement. Arya hurried over to where Liam was working. His workstation was cluttered with ancient technology, pieces of which he had painstakingly reassembled. In the center of the mess, a small data core pulsed with a faint blue light. "It's a data core from pre-destruction Earth," Liam explained. "I've managed to access some of the files. This contains advanced technology and knowledge that we thought was lost forever." Arya's eyes widened. "What kind of technology?" "Among other things," Liam said, leaning closer, "the plans for a weapon powerful enough to rival the Galactic Council's entire fleet." The implications were staggering. For centuries, humanity had survived by hiding, by staying under the radar. But now, with this discovery, they had a chance to fight back, a chance to avenge Earth and reclaim their place in the galaxy. "We need to get this to the Council," Arya said, her voice firm. "Humanity needs to know that there's hope. We need to unite our people." The discovery of the data core spread like wildfire among the human colonies. For the first time in millennia, there was a tangible sense of hope. Leaders from the scattered factions of humanity convened in a secret location, a hidden base on the edge of known space. Here, representatives from every corner of the human diaspora gathered to discuss their next steps. Commander Arya Stone stood at the forefront of the assembly. Her presence commanded respect, her reputation as a fierce and capable leader preceding her. She looked out at the gathered crowd, seeing in their faces the same determination that burned within her. "We've been wandering for too long," Arya began, her voice echoing in the cavernous chamber. "We have lived as nomads, as survivors, but we are more than that. We are the descendants of Earth, and we have a right to reclaim our place in the galaxy." The room buzzed with murmurs of agreement. Arya raised her hand for silence. "We have discovered a data core," she continued, "containing the knowledge and technology of our ancestors. Among its secrets is the blueprint for a weapon capable of challenging the Galactic Council. With this, we can strike back. We can avenge Earth and ensure that no one will ever suffer as we have." The murmurs grew louder, a mixture of excitement and apprehension. "To do this," Arya said, "we must unite. No more factions, no more divisions. We must pool our resources, our knowledge, and our strength. Together we can build this weapon and take the fight to the Council." One of the leaders, a tall man with graying hair named General Marcus Hale, stood up. "Unity is essential, but we also need allies. There are others in the galaxy who suffer under the Council's rule. If we can gain their support, we stand a better chance." Arya nodded. "Agreed. We will seek out those who have been oppressed by the Council. We will form an alliance of the willing, united against a common enemy." The assembly erupted in applause and cheers. For the first time in 3,000 years, humanity had a purpose, a goal that transcended mere survival. They had the means to fight back, and they were determined to see it through. As the meeting adjourned, Arya met with her closest advisors. Among them were Dr. Liam Harris, the scientist who had discovered the data core, and Lieutenant Sophia Reyes, a tactical genius with a sharp mind and an even sharper wit. "We need to start gathering resources immediately," Sophia said. "Building this weapon will require materials and expertise that we don't have readily available." Liam nodded in agreement. "I've already started deciphering the rest of the data core. There are plans for advanced manufacturing techniques that could speed up the process, but we'll need to find the right facilities." Arya looked at her team, feeling a swell of pride. "We've taken the first step. Now, let's see this through. For Earth." With a renewed sense of purpose, humanity began to mobilize. Across the galaxy, scattered colonies and hidden outposts started working together, pooling their resources and knowledge. The awakening had begun, and the countdown to humanity's revenge was ticking. Together, they would rise from the ashes of their forgotten planet and forge a new destiny among the stars. The secret base on the edge of known space became the epicenter of humanity's resurgence. It was here that plans were made, alliances were forged, and strategies were developed. Commander Arya Stone, now recognized as the de facto leader of the human resistance, knew that their survival hinged on the support of other oppressed races within the galaxy. Arya stood in the war room, a vast chamber filled with holographic displays and communication consoles. The walls were adorned with maps of the galaxy, marking the territories controlled by the Galactic Council and the locations of potential allies. General Marcus Hale and Lieutenant Sophia Reyes were at her side, along with Dr. Liam Harris and other key members of their leadership. "We've identified several potential allies," Sophia began, pointing to various points on the holographic map. "The Dracarians, the Thalorans, and the Zaruk. Each of these races has a history of conflict with the Galactic Council. If we can secure their support, our chances of success will increase significantly." Arya nodded. "The Dracarians are fierce warriors, and their combat skills would be invaluable. The Thalorans are renowned for their advanced technology, which could accelerate our weapon development. And the Zaruk, with their strategic prowess, could help us plan our attacks more effectively." General Hale spoke up, his deep voice resonating in the chamber. "Each of these alliances will come with its own challenges. The Dracarians, in particular, have a deep-seated distrust of outsiders. We'll need to approach them carefully." "Then we start with the Dracarians," Arya decided. "We'll send an envoy to their homeworld. I'll go personally to show them our commitment." Sophia looked at Arya with concern. "It's dangerous. The Dracarians are not known for their hospitality." Arya smiled faintly. "Dangerous or not, we need them. I'll take a small team and go under the radar. We'll present our case and hope they see the value in joining us." A few days later, Arya and her selected team embarked on their journey to Drakkara, the homeworld of the Dracarians. The journey was perilous, as they had to navigate through regions patrolled by the Galactic Council's forces. But with skilled piloting and careful planning, they managed to avoid detection. Drakkara was a harsh, arid planet, its surface dominated by rugged mountains and vast deserts. The Drakkarians had adapted to this environment, becoming one of the fiercest warrior races in the galaxy. As Arya's shuttle descended into the atmosphere, she could see the imposing structures of the Drakkarian capital, built into the side of a massive mountain. Upon landing, Arya and her team were escorted by heavily armed Drakkarian guards to the Great Hall, where the Drakkarian leader, High Warlord Corran, awaited them. Corran was a towering figure, his presence commanding and intimidating. His eyes, sharp and unyielding, studied Arya with curiosity and suspicion. "Welcome to Drakkara," Corran said, his voice a deep rumble. "Few outsiders have the courage to step foot on our world. State your purpose." Arya stepped forward, meeting Corran's gaze with unwavering resolve. "High Warlord Corran, I am Commander Arya Stone of the Human Resistance. We seek your alliance against a common enemy, the Galactic Council. They have oppressed not just humanity, but countless other races, including yours. Together, we can overthrow their tyranny." Corran's eyes narrowed. "And why should the Drakkarians ally with you? What do you offer in return for our blood and steel?" Arya gestured to Dr. Liam Harris, who activated a holographic display showing the plans for the superweapon. "We have discovered a weapon, powerful enough to challenge the Council's fleet. With your combat skills and our technology, we can strike a blow that will cripple their power." The Dracarian warlords murmured among themselves, intrigued by the display. Corin remained silent for a moment, then spoke. "You speak of revenge and liberation, but words are not enough. Dracarians respect strength and honor. Prove to us that you are worthy allies." Arya knew this moment would come. She had prepared for it. "I propose a challenge, a duel between myself and one of your warriors. If I win, you consider our alliance. If I lose, we will leave Drakkara and never return." Corin's lips curled into a smile. "Very well, the duel will take place at dawn. Choose your weapon." As the preparations for the duel began, Arya felt the weight of her responsibility. This duel was not just a test of her combat skills, but a pivotal moment in their struggle against the Galactic Council. She trained late into the night, honing her abilities and focusing her mind. At dawn, the Great Hall was filled with Dracarian warriors eager to witness the duel. Arya stood in the center of the arena, facing her opponent, a towering Dracarian warrior named Valkor. Armed with a traditional Dracarian blade, Valkor was a formidable adversary. The duel began with the clash of steel, each strike reverberating through the hall. Arya fought with all her might, her movements precise and calculated. Valkor's strength was overwhelming, but Arya's agility and determination kept her in the fight. After a grueling battle, Arya managed to disarm Valkor, her blade at his throat. The hall fell silent. Corin rose from his seat, his expression one of respect and approval. "You have proven yourself, Arya Stone. The Dracarians will stand with you. Together, we will bring down the Galactic Council." With the Dracarians as their allies, humanity's resistance gained a powerful new force. The alliance marked the beginning of a united front against the Council, setting the stage for the battles to come. The road ahead was fraught with danger, but with newfound allies and the promise of revenge, humanity's resolve had never been stronger. The alliance with the Dracarians had bolstered the human resistance, but Arya knew they needed more than brute strength to challenge the Galactic Council. Intelligence was key. They needed to understand the Council's strengths and weaknesses, uncover their secrets, and exploit their vulnerabilities. For this mission, Arya turned to one of the most skilled operatives in the Resistance, Elias Verne. Elias was a master spy, his cybernetic enhancements making him nearly undetectable and exceptionally capable. He had infiltrated some of the most secure locations in the galaxy, gathering invaluable information for the Resistance. Now, his mission was to penetrate the heart of the Galactic Council's capital, Aurelia Prime. Arya briefed Elias in the command center, the dim light casting shadows across their faces. "Elias, this mission is critical. We need to know everything about the Council's defenses, their command structure, and any internal conflicts we can exploit. This could be our only chance to gather this intel." Elias nodded, his expression serious. "I understand, Commander. I'll get what we need." Equipped with the latest stealth technology and armed with his wits, Elias embarked on his journey to Aurelia Prime. The capital was a sprawling metropolis of towering spires and advanced infrastructure, heavily guarded and constantly monitored. To infiltrate it was a task only someone of Elias's caliber could hope to achieve. Using a false identity, Elias made his way into the city, blending in with the bustling crowds. He navigated the labyrinthine streets, his augmented senses scanning for threats and opportunities. His first objective was to access the Council's central database, a feat that required both physical infiltration and cyber warfare. Elias approached the Council's central data facility, a heavily fortified structure with multiple layers of security. He bypassed the outer defenses with ease, using his cybernetic implants to disable alarms and unlock doors. Once inside, he encountered more sophisticated security measures, including biometric scanners and encrypted data terminals. Elias's fingers danced over the terminal, hacking into the system with practiced precision. As he navigated through layers of encryption, he unearthed files detailing the Council's fleet deployments, defensive positions, and, most importantly, internal communications. He discovered that not all was well within the council. There were growing tensions and power struggles among the high-ranking officials, a weakness the resistance could potentially exploit. However, his presence did not go unnoticed for long. The facility's automated security system detected the unauthorized access, triggering an alarm. Red lights flashed, and the sound of approaching guards filled the air. Elias quickly downloaded the critical files onto a secure data drive and prepared to make his escape. As the guards closed in, Elias activated his cloaking device, rendering him nearly invisible. He moved silently through the facility, evading capture with a combination of agility and advanced technology. Despite his best efforts, the guards were relentless, and a high-speed chase ensued through the corridors of the data facility. Elias's enhanced reflexes and combat training allowed him to outmaneuver his pursuers. He darted through narrow passageways, leaped over obstacles, and used his cybernetic strength to overcome barriers. The chase culminated in a daring leap from a high platform, landing him in a transport vessel just as it was departing. Breathing heavily, Elias activated the vessel's autopilot and set a course for the hidden base. He transmitted a secure message to Arya, informing her of his success and the valuable information he had obtained. Back at the base, Arya and her team analyzed the data Elias had retrieved. The files confirmed the Council's vulnerabilities and highlighted key locations for strategic strikes. More importantly, they revealed a faction within the Council that was dissatisfied with the current leadership, presenting an opportunity for the resistance to sow discord among their enemies. Elias's mission had been a resounding success, providing the resistance with the intelligence they needed to plan their next moves. With the new information, Arya and her allies could devise a strategy to destabilize the Council from within and launch a coordinated attack on their most critical assets. As Elias returned to the base, he was greeted with applause and cheers from the assembled resistance fighters. Arya approached him, a rare smile on her face. "Excellent work, Elias. You've given us the edge we needed. Now we can turn the tide in our favor." Elias nodded, feeling a sense of pride and determination. "This is just the beginning, Commander. We'll bring the Council to its knees." With the intelligence gathered and their alliance growing stronger, the resistance prepared for the next phase of their plan. They would strike at the heart of the Galactic Council, exploiting their weaknesses and using the element of surprise to their advantage. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the fate of the galaxy. Humanity, armed with knowledge and allies, was ready to reclaim its place among the stars. The resistance base was a hive of activity. With the intelligence Elias had gathered, plans were being made for a series of strategic strikes against the Galactic Council. However, not all was as it seemed within the ranks of the resistance. Unbeknownst to Arya and her trusted advisors, a faction of humans, fearful of the Council's power and desperate for survival, was plotting to sabotage the mission. This faction, led by a cunning operative named Darian Roth, believed that challenging the Council was a fool's errand. Darian had managed to recruit a small but influential group within the resistance, exploiting their fears and doubts. They saw the weapon as a threat that would provoke the Council's full wrath and doom humanity to extinction. One night, as the base lay under the cover of darkness, Darian and his followers enacted their plan. They infiltrated the research lab where Dr. Liam Harris was working tirelessly on the weapon's development. Liam had grown accustomed to working late into the night, driven by the hope of seeing humanity rise again. He was engrossed in his work when the door slid open, and Darian stepped in, flanked by his conspirators. "Darian, what are you doing here?" Liam asked, looking up from his console. Darian's face was cold and determined. "I'm sorry, Liam, but this has to stop. The weapon will bring about our destruction, not our salvation." Liam stood, realization dawning. "You're making a mistake, Darian. This is our chance to fight back." Darian shook his head. "We don't stand a chance against the Council. I'm doing what's necessary to save what's left of humanity." Before Liam could react, Darian's men restrained him. They began planting explosives around the lab, set to destroy the weapon and all the research data. As they worked, Liam struggled against his captors, desperate to stop them. At that moment, Arya, alerted by the base's security system, burst into the lab with a team of loyal soldiers. A tense standoff ensued. "Darien, stand down," Arya commanded, her weapon trained on him. Darien hesitated, but then steeled himself. "No, Arya, this has to end now." A shot rang out, and in the confusion, one of Darien's men detonated a small charge, setting off a chain reaction. The lab was engulfed in flames and debris. Arya and her team managed to subdue the traitors, but the damage was done. The weapon prototype lay in ruins, and Dr. Liam Harris was gravely injured. In the aftermath, the traitors were imprisoned, and Arya faced the daunting task of rebuilding what had been lost. The base was somber, the weight of betrayal heavy on everyone's shoulders. Liam, despite his injuries, was determined to continue his work. "We can't give up now," he insisted from his hospital bed. "We have the knowledge. We can rebuild." Arya nodded, her resolve unbroken. "We'll rebuild it stronger. Darien's betrayal won't be in vain. It will remind us of what's at stake and push us to succeed." With renewed determination, the resistance set to work. The sabotage had delayed their plans, but it had not defeated them. They would rise from the ashes, more united and resolute than ever before. Months of relentless work had paid off. The weapon, now dubbed the Phoenix Cannon for its rebirth from the ashes of betrayal, was complete. The resistance had grown stronger, their ranks bolstered by new recruits and further alliances. The Dracarians, impressed by the humans' resilience, had provided additional resources and warriors. The Thalorans and Za'arak had also joined the cause, bringing their advanced technology and strategic acumen. The plan was set, a coordinated assault on the Galactic Council's strongest stronghold, the fortress world of Helios Prime. Helios Prime was the seat of the Council's military power, its defenses seemingly impregnable. But with the intelligence gathered by Elias and the combined might of their alliance, the resistance had a chance. The fleet assembled in the vastness of space, ships from multiple races forming an armada unlike any seen before. Arya, aboard the flagship Resolute, addressed the combined forces. "Today we fight not just for humanity, but for every race oppressed by the Council. We fight for freedom, for justice, and for a future where all can live without fear. Stand together, and we will prevail." The fleet jumped to hyperspace, emerging in the Helios system to find the Council's forces arrayed against them. The battle began with a ferocity that shook the stars. Ships clashed in a symphony of destruction, laser fire and explosions lighting up the void. Arya's tactical brilliance and Sophia's strategic planning guided the resistance forces, their coordinated strikes overwhelming the Council's defenses. On the surface of Helios Prime, ground troops, led by Dracarian warriors and supported by human and allied forces, launched an assault on key installations. Amid the chaos, the Phoenix Cannon was deployed. A colossal fusion-powered weapon, it had the potential to turn the tide. Positioned in orbit, it targeted the primary shield generator protecting the Council's command center. The weapon hummed with energy, its power building to a crescendo. "Fire!" Arya commanded. A beam of intense energy shot from the Phoenix Cannon, slicing through space and impacting the shield generator. The resulting explosion was spectacular, the shield around the command center flickering and then collapsing. With the shield down, the path to the Council's leaders was open. Ground forces stormed the command center, fierce battles raging through its corridors. Arya led the charge, her determination unwavering. As they fought their way to the central chamber, they encountered the elite guards of the Council, but the combined might of the resistance forces pushed through. In the central chamber, High Chancellor Voriax and his counselors awaited them. Voriax, a being of immense power and intelligence, stood defiant. "You dare challenge the might of the Galactic Council?" he sneered. Arya stepped forward. "We dare, and we will prevail. For Earth, for every world you've oppressed, your reign ends today." A fierce battle erupted in the chamber, with Arya and her allies facing off against Voriax and his guards. The fight was brutal, but Arya's skill and the determination of her allies proved too much for the Council's elite. In a final desperate confrontation, Arya faced Voriax, their blades clashing in a duel that would decide the fate of the galaxy. With a decisive strike, Arya disarmed Voriax and held her blade to his throat. "It's over," she declared. Voriax, defeated, sneered. "You think you've won? The Council's power extends far beyond this room." Arya met his gaze, unyielding. "Maybe, but this is the beginning of the end for your tyranny." With Voriax captured and the command center secured, the Resistance forces took control of Helios Prime. The Galactic Council's stronghold had fallen, and with it, their grip on the galaxy began to loosen. Celebrations erupted among the Allied forces, their victory a testament to their unity and resolve. As Arya stood amidst the ruins of the Council's power, she knew the battle was far from over. But this victory had shown the galaxy that the Council was not invincible. It was a beacon of hope, a promise of a future where all races could live in freedom. The Resistance had struck a decisive blow, and with their newfound strength and determination, they would continue the fight until the galaxy was free from tyranny. The assault on Helios Prime was a turning point, the dawn of a new era. The fall of Helios Prime sent shockwaves throughout the galaxy. News of the Galactic Council's defeat spread quickly, igniting hope among the oppressed and fear among the Council's loyalists. The Resistance, now a formidable force, continued to rally support and plan their next moves. However, within the captured stronghold, a startling revelation awaited them. Arya and her team scoured the command center, seeking valuable intelligence and uncovering secrets long hidden by the Council. In the deepest chamber of the stronghold, they found a sealed vault. With Elias's expertise in cybernetics and hacking, they managed to breach its defenses. Inside, they discovered ancient records, artifacts, and a powerful AI system known as Oracle. The Oracle was a vast repository of knowledge, containing data on the Council's history, its leaders, and their most guarded secrets. Arya activated the AI, its holographic form materializing before them. "Welcome, Commander Arya Stone," the Oracle intoned, its voice resonating with an eerie calm. "You seek answers, and I am programmed to provide them." Arya stepped forward, her eyes fixed on the holographic figure. "Tell us the truth about the destruction of Earth. Why did the Council target us?" The Oracle's visage flickered as it accessed the relevant data. The destruction of Earth was not merely an act of aggression. It was a preemptive strike to prevent a prophecy from coming true. The room fell silent, tension thick in the air. "What prophecy?" Arya demanded. "The prophecy foretold the rise of a species from the third planet of a minor solar system, Earth. This species would grow to surpass all others in power, intelligence, and influence, uniting the galaxy under their rule. The Council, fearing the loss of their dominance, decided to eliminate the threat before it could manifest." Arya's heart pounded. The revelation was staggering. "So they destroyed our planet because they were afraid of what we could become?" "Precisely," the Oracle confirmed. "But the prophecy also spoke of a time when the survivors of Earth would return, led by a warrior of great strength and wisdom, to reclaim their destiny." Arya exchanged looks with her team. "And who is this warrior?" The Oracle's holographic eyes seemed to pierce into Arya's soul. "It is you, Arya Stone. You are the one foretold to lead humanity to its rightful place." The weight of the Oracle's words settled heavily on Arya. She had always believed in their cause, but now she understood the true magnitude of their struggle. They were not just fighting for revenge. They were fighting to fulfill a destiny long denied to them. "We will see this through," Arya vowed, her resolve steeling. "For Earth and for the future of all oppressed races in the galaxy." Armed with this new knowledge, the Resistance redoubled their efforts. They spread the revelation of the prophecy, rallying more allies to their cause. The galaxy, inspired by the resilience and destiny of humanity, began to see the Galactic Council for what it truly was, a regime built on fear and oppression. As the Resistance prepared for the final stages of their campaign, Arya and her closest advisors planned their most daring move yet, an assault on the Galactic Council's central seat of power, the planet Valoria. It was there that the Council's remaining leaders had regrouped, determined to crush the rebellion once and for all. The assault on Valoria was a meticulously planned operation, involving coordinated strikes from space and ground forces. The Resistance's fleet, bolstered by their new allies, was now a force to be reckoned with. The Phoenix cannon, repaired and upgraded, stood ready to deliver another decisive blow. As the fleet approached Valoria, the Council's formidable defenses sprang into action. Massive orbital platforms, armed to the teeth, unleashed a barrage of firepower. But the Resistance was prepared. Utilizing advanced Thaloran technology and Zaruk tactics, they evaded the worst of the assault and pressed forward. Arya, aboard the Resolute, commanded the fleet with unwavering focus. Target the orbital platforms. We need to clear a path for our ground forces. The Phoenix cannon fired, its beam slicing through the void and obliterating one of the platforms. The Resistance ships followed suit, their coordinated strikes dismantling the Council's defenses piece by piece. On the surface of Valoria, ground troops, including Dracarian warriors and human soldiers, deployed to key strategic points. Fierce battles erupted as they fought to take control of vital installations. The Council's loyalists, though well-equipped and numerous, struggled to withstand the sheer determination and unity of the Resistance forces. As the battle raged, Arya led a strike team into the heart of the Council's command complex. Their mission? To capture or neutralize the remaining Council leaders and bring an end to their tyranny. The corridors of the complex were a maze of traps and defenses, but Arya's team pressed on, driven by the knowledge of their destiny. They reached the central chamber where the Council's leaders had gathered. High Chancellor Voriax, now a prisoner, was brought before them. His defeat had left a power vacuum, and the remaining Council members were divided and desperate. Arya stepped forward, her voice ringing with authority. "Your reign is over. Surrender now, and you will be spared. Resist, and you will face the same fate as Voriax." The Council members exchanged glances, their fear palpable. One by one, they laid down their arms, accepting the inevitable. The Resistance had won. With the Council's surrender, the galaxy breathed a collective sigh of relief. The long night of oppression was finally over. Arya stood before the gathered forces of the Resistance, her heart swelling with pride and hope. "Today, we begin a new chapter," she declared. "The Galactic Council's tyranny has ended, but our work is far from over. We must build a galaxy where all races can live in peace and equality. We must ensure that no one will ever suffer as we have." The crowd erupted in cheers, their voices echoing across the once dreaded halls of the Council's command complex. The Resistance had not just won a battle. They had ignited the dawn of a new era. In the days that followed, efforts were made to establish a new governing body, one that would represent all races and uphold justice and freedom. Arya, though reluctant to take on a political role, was chosen to lead the Provisional Council, her leadership and vision deemed essential for the transition. Under her guidance, the galaxy began to heal. Former enemies became allies, and the wounds of the past slowly started to mend. The prophecy had been fulfilled, but it was just the beginning of a journey towards a brighter future. As the stars glittered above, humanity and their allies stood united, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Earth, though lost, had become a symbol of resilience and hope. Arya knew that the spirit of Earth lived on in every corner of the galaxy, a testament to the enduring strength and unity of its people. Together, they would build a future where freedom reigned and the legacy of Earth was honored. The new dawn had arrived, and with it, the promise of a better tomorrow for all.